So technically what we do today is we are going to quickly run through the portion on tendering. Okay, I didn't post anything on tendering. Okay, because I feel like there's a lot of things for you to absorb already. There was quite a fair bit of recording, so it's about almost like 11 or 12, right, the recordings. So you all went through the recordings already, nah, I assume, huh? Because if you haven't gone through it, then it wouldn't make sense, you see. So if you have, then that's good, huh? If you haven't, please continue to go back and finish it up, and that would actually help. I will run through tendering and any questions you have on procurement. And then after that, I will leave some time for you all to present your assignments. Okay. So I will make this presentation. You all have something to present, right? I mean, I've already said you need to present something. So it's like a group work. How many groups are there? Huh? Sue, your group is you? 2 of you, huh? And 2 of you, 4. Huh? UN? Oh, one being. Oh, okay. So yes, so one being. Okay, and then Zai with Natasha. Also, everybody is doing group of 2, is it? Or easier like then? How about the girls? The 3 of you, huh? And like who's on? Oh, Nazatu. And then the 2 of you. Who? Haiza. Oh, Haiza is not here. That's why I thought somebody is missing. Okay. So there's 3 of you in the group. All right, fair enough. Right, so there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, six group presenting. Okay, so what I'll do is with this presentation, I will also count it as one of the bonus marks that I will give you later. Okay, like because normally after pre-recording, I will usually have like a small questions for you all to answer. Like the first one that you did, if you hand it in, that one is a bonus marks. Okay, Dr. Lee will give two sets of like short question. Okay, I will give 2. You see, purpose is if she gives 0.5 and 0.5, I give 0.5 and 0.5, that will be 2 marks total. 2 marks is a lot. This is not 2 marks out of whatever. This is 2 marks out of 100. So if you guys end up with a 58, then this 2 marks is going to be very important because it will bring you to a pass. So it will be a 1 grade difference. Okay, but we will see the result later to see how we're going to give you the marks. If your result is really very terrible, if we can help you with another 1 or 2 marks through the assignment, through these sort of short exercises, then we will help you, but to be fair, if one person get extra 1 marks, we will give it to everybody. It will not be just one person. Okay, so this one here today, I will take it as you all punya bonus marks. I don't know if you think it's fair because you'll be presenting. So some of you will be presenting. You can let your friends, it doesn't have to be a fantastic presentation, a complete one. Okay, what I want to see is for you, I'm forcing you guys to show me your assignment. You see, if not, then you're gonna ask any question, and then end up is no. Okay, no question. Oh, go home, buka puasa. That is usually the case, you see. So that's why I force you to give you some bonus marks to go along with it so that you all can gain something out of the exercise. So it doesn't have to be like, you don't even have to do slides or whatever. You just have to show me your work, go through it and explain your work, and then I will make comments and hopefully you can change or add on anything before it's too late. And I hope you don't feel like, let's say you are the one presenting and your group members are not here. Like for example, the 3 of you, Haiza is not here. So I hope you don't mind. It's a teamwork. So if you mind, then just swallow it. Just swallow it. Okay. Yeah. So now because it's only 0.5, so yeah, you present it, and then if your group member is online now, because they're due to their reason, they cannot make it today. You know, like one had to go for a funeral, another one had something. So it's valid reasons. So I let them use the online one. Huh? So they can help you to answer the question online. And those of you who are online, please by all means later on help your teammate, you know. Don't leave everything to them, you know, help to answers as well. I will probably ask your teammate for an answer as well, just to be fair for everybody, okay? Yeah, so we will do that. Later on, we'll spend about 6 groups, so we can spend about 10 to 15 minutes per group, all right? Of Q&A. So you can present your thing like 5-10 minutes, then I will look at it and comment on it. It's more for the assignment improvement purpose rather than a real oral presentation. There will not be such thing as giving you a rubrics or whatever to mark you on your styles, your speaking or whatever. Yeah, no, it's not like that. This is really informal. It's more like giving you the bonus marks and trying to help you to pass. Because we have people failing these subjects and I don't like it, you know. And I don't have the habit of simply passing people just because of this is a commercial course. So I don't like doing that. So I prefer to really through all these sort of means to get you to do well and do better. Okay? Right. Ah. No, group presentation, group discussion we've been doing again and again, again and again. So we need you to see the work. Yeah, we need to see your work, because if I don't see your work, we keep on talking. There's no point. Yeah. Just show me wherever you're up to, okay? The online people, can you see the slides? The slides is called solicitation cycle. Can you all see the slides? No? Yes? No, okay. It's a sharing, yeah. Like this? Okay. One thing can see solicitation cycle, okay? Right, so we have went through in procurement, if you've gone through the overview of procurement management, the word procurement is about purchasing, is about obtaining something, is about owning a product. You see, so we've gone through scope management, we've gone through the time, we've gone through cost management, you see, and now we've we're putting in procurement management before quality management is because you only need to do the assignment, that the project. That is one of the main reasons we sort the schedule a little bit. Otherwise, it will be scope management, time, cost, quality, and then after that procurement. And so procurement came first. There's no harm, okay? So we need to know that once you've already got the scope of work, you need to build it. You need to actually make it into a reality. You know, your client wants to own something, you know, a facilities or a product, or, you know, can be a residential, how it can be residential houses, it can be residential apartments, condominiums, it can be a shopping mall, you know, it can be road, it can be drainage systems, it can be bridge, you know, but some of these facilities, they are owned by the government normally, or we say that it's owned by the people, it's owned by the nation. The government are the caretaker like if we say owned by the government, then you know we have we kind of like think that, you know, like whoever party is in power, then this things belong to them. It's actually not, okay? So it's like it's owned by the people, and now some is owned by private sectors. So but all this making it into a realization that is a very important procedures, because before this, everything is pretty much on paper. Okay, for example, we plan for our scope, from your feasibility studies, from your investigation to your conceptual, to your development of the idea, to coming up with different scope components, and then from the different components you work out into the kind of works that needs to be done. Yeah, so in the end, we want to know what are you purchasing? What exactly is that? If we use the word very loosely, is what are you purchasing? But of course, it's not as simple as going to the shopping mall to purchase a shirt or a pair of shoes. It's a little bit more complicated than that. So if we imagine like very simple, let's say today after class, you want to go shopping, you need a pair of shoes. So scope management is like you are trying to think about what is your need, what is your purpose here? Are you going to use it for sports? Are you going to use it to walk? Are you going to use it to run a marathon? Are you going to use it to climb the mountain? Or it's just going to be a normal shoes that you need for work? You see, so we need to know the purpose, we need to know the issue, and all that. Then after that, we will start to look at the different components, like, are you looking at the colors? Are you looking at the sizes? Are you looking at the comfort? Are you looking at the, the made up, the materials, So there's many components to it, that you are looking at. So once you know that I'm buying this pair of shoes because I need it for work, and I need it to be in darker colors, I need it to be leather material, I need it to be this size, to be comfortable. So you've got all your scope, you see. So when you have the scope, you develop the scope with each of the components and the work that goes into it. I mean, in the old days, mothers would make shoes, you see, but now we don't make shoes, we go out and buy. So the activities bit of making the shoes, we leave it to the factory, okay? So, but we are going out there now to purchase the shoes. We're going to make it our product. So procurement is that point onwards where after you know your scope, how are you going to get it? Who is going to build it for you? Yeah. Who is going to be the, how are you going to purchase each and every one of the component? And what means are you going to be paying for it? You see? So procurement, it will involve strategies. It will involve that relationship. In civil engineering, it involves that relationship between the client, which is the owner of the project, with the designers, which is the people who develop the ideas, maybe the consultants. Then you have the contractors or the builders, the people who build it for you, or the service provider. So this particular relationship is it's almost like you need to know which shop you're going to go to, you see. Like, you're going to go to shop A, shop B, shop C, you're going to go to Skechers, or you're going to go to, Hush Puppies, so you've got different shops to shop around. So how are you going to know when you go there, that relationship is, I'm the purchaser, you are the seller, okay? So it's very clear cut, I have this product, I need you to sell to me, yeah? And it must be according to my specifications, my size, my color, and all that, and the material that I want. But engineering involves a lot more. You see, a lot more. There's a lot more components to it. There's a lot more people in it. Like, there's a lot more professionals in it, and the contractors. It involves many many components that they need to actually provide you with. So you cannot have a contractor who actually sign a contract with you, and then at the end of the day, I don't provide the material. You see, you need to be very clear. Are they giving you the material? Are they also giving you the manpower? Are they also bringing in the machineries? What are they actually providing? So we need to set up that relationship. So first, you must pick the right procurement strategies. Because if you don't pick the right procurement strategies, many projects may not fit certain procurement strategies. It's pretty much like if your product is not something that is actually available in the local market easily, it is very common, or it is actually very difficult to get, so there is a characteristic to that product. So your engineering project will have that characteristic. You must know. That's why, again, we go back to our system thinking. You see, that big square with the circles inside there, the small circles to the second layer, to the third layer, and the big square, that system thinking comes in the picture again. And now it will tell you the project characteristic. It will tell you exactly what the project is all about, where is it located, and what actually affects what the project actually affects. You see, what part of law does it involve? You see, if we're building residential, it has, we have building bylaws, we've got maybe environmental acts, we've got occupational health and safety acts, we've got we've also got like council's regulations, we've also got the drainage irrigation, the water board, the water authority. So these are the regulations that is involved. So from that big picture, you know that, okay, these are the authority that are involved. And then my organization, do I have the capacities? Do I have the money? Do I have the cash flow? Do I have the people? Do I have the right consultants? Is it very readily employable, these sort of consultants in the market? When I employ them, do I need to, what sort of relationship do I need to establish with them? Is this so? With the overall project environment, you actually must, through that, you are understanding the project characteristic. You see, it's only when you understand the project characteristic, this is that you guys understand exactly what you want to buy, then you can go to the right shop. So if you don't know what you want to buy, it's going to be like, number one, the worst is we are wasting time. You're just going to go to different shopping malls, different shops to look for the different things, and then you may feel like it doesn't feel right, and then you end up one whole day walking around and you end up not having anything. So same goes to procurement strategies. If you don't know what you want, or you already know what you want, but the characteristic of your project, you must know. You see, you must know very clearly what are the in-house capacities, what are the constraints of the projects, what are the legal constraints, what are the cultural constraints, what are the environmental constraints, because different projects represent different type of constraints. If I'm actually building a chemical factory, I'm building an oil platform, it is very different from if I'm building a rice factory, if I'm building a development project for shopping mall. A shopping mall is completely different from shop lots, and shop lots is different from residential. So there's a lot of differences in the project, and you must understand the characteristic of your project. So whenever you answer questions like this in exam, for example, what are the best procurement strategy? You must first and foremost describe to me the characteristic of your project. How technically complex is it? Do you have the management capacities? Do you have the design capacities? Is local availability, material available? Is local techniques available? Is local technology applicable? How expensive is it? What about regulations? Some regulations maybe they ask you to use industrialized building system, precast concrete, lightweight steel. You see? So there may be regulations like that. And there's some projects that are asking you to use BIM, building information modeling. So you must know your project characteristic. You must know what is your project all about. Okay, not besides the scope. Scope is definitely you must know. Easiest if you know, but then if scope you don't know, there are other procurement strategies that are available for it. It could be design and build. It could be turnkey. If your scope is very clearly, your drawings is there already, your specifications are there already, you know what exactly that you want to buy, then life is easier. You just have to go and start to shop around for the contractor. So you can use traditional mode of contracting, which is the client will engage the contractor, the client will engage a separate designer. So it may look like a very small matter, like whatever works, like I just go and buy. It doesn't matter if I pay with cash or if I pay with credit card, or if I pay with Sarap Pay, or like Alipay or whatever, or you can buy things online even now. You don't even have to go to the shops, you see. So there's many options available. But what really suits your project, suits your own financial status, suit your own level of repayment and all that. So you must understand from the project characteristics to the company capacities to the organization capacities to your organization culture. Some of you work for government, there is a culture, the ingrained culture that you cannot change, you see. So certain procurement method will work better for certain project, certain organization, you see. When if the project is the issue here, then it's easiest to pick the right procurement strategies. But if the project can fit many type of procurement strategies, then the organization that is going to be using it, owning it, will be one of the main issue that you must look at. If it's a private, if it's government, different government agency also have different kind of culture, different kind of policy. JKR may be different from DID, DID may be different from water board may be different from land and survey. So they're all very different. And like for example, Sarawak, Kuching alone, we've got like four different councils. You've got DBKU and BKS, you've got Padawan, you've got Samarahan councils, you've got different councils. Different areas has different councils, and different councils have different regulation and different ways of functioning, different requirement. So your procurement strategy have to suit all this, you see. And then when you have that, you are actually setting the background, the foundation of how everybody will interact with one another. They haven't started interacting yet because you haven't got your contractor yet. Okay, there's no interaction yet. It's just setting the foundation for interaction, meaning that later on the client will engage a designer. We will separately engage a designer. My firm has the capacities. We have an engineer to look after the job. Let's go for that. And then we've got the contractor. We also have capacity to look after the contractor. Or we can sign a separate contract of supervision from the engineers to the contractor. So you go for traditional general contracting. Okay, so it's fine. So traditional general contracting has been like delivering projects like for centuries, like since the beginning of time, there is this sort of method. So if you say that it doesn't work, it's not true. But if you say that it's perfect, it is not perfect. There is things that are not suitable for it. We may be able to fit like 80% of the product. It's just like a free size t-shirt that mostly everybody can wear. But there will be somebody who wear it and they're not comfortable with it, or it's too small or it's too big. So that is traditional general contracting. Then you've got a more new age one like design and build, see, and you've got the even more new age one like turnkey, and then you've got things like public-private financing, like public sectors and private sector working together, that kind of relationship. So the client is the public sectors, the contractor may be the private sectors, so they come together, they actually go into the they actually build the project for the client, so that relationship is very different now. So wherever your organization stand, let's say if you are government agency, JKR, your job is the supervision. You don't own the project. So you see the role that you play starts to be different. You see, so you cannot go to the contractor and behave like you are the owner. You're just there to execute. You're just there to look after the job as a supervisory team. And that's very different. The mentality, attitude, and the way you approach things are very different. So if it's traditional general contracting that JKR is the owner, the public works department is the owner, then you as an engineer who represent the owner, your roles, your duties, your attitude, the way that you approach is very different. Yeah. If it's the design and build, you are also very different, because now if I'm a designer, I used to be under the client, now I'm under the contractor. It's a very different story. So with traditional, with procurement strategies, it pays that relationship. It puts a blanket on the relationship. It makes everybody knows where you are standing in this particular piece of game. Yeah. If we say this is a board game, so do you know where you are standing? So later on when you know where you stand, then it's easier to map out your roles, your responsibilities, your duties, you see. And then when you have that, the contract will be different, you see. not every contract is applicable for every procurement strategies. Whatever that we have available. Let's say if we're in the PPP, the public-private partnership, or let's say we're in a joint venture. So you've got like client to contractor joint venture into a joint venture vehicle, and then they go and bid for the job from the client. There is additional relationship here that the client is dealing with two separate contractor, or is it one entity? So if there is a joint venture vehicle, meaning that you will probably have to sign a contract between the two contractors, or it could be a designer with a contractor, they JV, and then they go in, and then they will have a separate contract, and then who is going to be the person signing the contract with the client? So that relationship now become different, you see. And there's many type of procurement systems that are a bit newer, that is available. It all is there because some older ones doesn't work nowadays, because there is a lot more complexities in project. There is a lot more projects are a lot bigger as well. And when projects are a lot bigger, it's difficult for one company to take the risk as well. So there's many other modes like partnership, partnering, joint venture that comes into the picture for distribution of risk, maybe to build up the cash flow, maybe. So you see, there's due to the environment that we are in, there's no longer the traditional environment. Nowadays, we are moving into the era of IT, of AI, of BIM, of putting our information on the cloud, and then we have monitoring systems using different type of softwares. We have things like synchro with things like visual VR. I think China is very popular with VR, augmented reality, virtual reality. They can do monitoring work. For example, this is a drawings, so they can have like a pad. So the monitoring team can have a pad, so they can go to that particular area, and then they can see what is the wiring inside there. What are the wiring and all that, and how it should go and all that, and then if it's done correctly and all that. So there's a lot of newer things that is applicable to our project nowadays. So that's why project will become, the complexity of things will be there. So because certain things are made easier, so we tend to make other things a little bit more complicated. So the scope may be a lot bigger. The amount of money that you go into it will be a lot bigger. The investment will be a lot bigger. You see, so, and many new things coming up very fast as well. So maybe your company don't have the expertise, you have to match it with another company's expertise. That's why you need to have all these new type of relationship forming. So procurement strategy, we cover things like that. So the main thing with procurement strategies, there's only one thing that you must remember is know what you want first. Yeah. Whatever answer in the questions that you're going to be getting from me later, it will be whatever strategy, what is the best strategy, what is the most suitable strategy, it doesn't matter. You must describe what you have in your hands first, which is your project. You don't go and talk about how good this strategy is, how good that strategy is, and do the advantages. Advantages, no use. You can't get good marks with that. We must see how you write your project characteristic versus your strategy. That is important. Yeah, that is the link that we are looking for. So if you don't know how to draw that square, okay, if you don't know how to draw that square with the circles, the system thinking, you cannot get good marks. So many questions are based on that sort of mentality. So I would suggest, okay, I'll put it here on record that for exam later on, for your assignments, what you do is, I did ask you to do that project environment, isn't it? So capture that in your head later. And then when you see any question in exam, try to remember that as your example. Don't go exam and start to think of another example, start to draw another project environment. Okay, so that is the fastest way. I'm teaching you the bad things here, lah. You know, I'm not asking you to learn, but I'm asking you to remember it, you know, kind of thing for your exam if you want to get good marks, you see. I mean, like, we want you to learn, we also want you to get good marks. So I think that is one strategy that you can have, you know, learn your project environment, that system thinking first, keep one in your head, and later on in exam, use the same example to do everyone, you know, to do most of the questions. That will actually help. Okay. All right. But of course, not every question is applicable. But if we ask you about scope management, if we ask you about procurement management, likely is you need to describe your project characteristic first. Okay. So then we flow on into different type of procurement strategies. We'll have different type of contracting strategies that is better for it. Contracting strategy is like part B, part B of the equation. You see, part A is your procurement strategies, part B is your contracting strategy, and part C is your tendering strategies, and part D is your documentation strategies. So you've got like A, B, C, D, and each and every one of these, you've got to pick the right method to do it. And this is talking about overview of the general procurement of a project. The procurement work will also be used very closely with it will be used very closely with, let's say, purchasing of materials, you know, like signing subcontracting agreement, you know, buy your pals, you know, those are also procurement. Okay, so people get confused when they think about procurement, and many organizations, including big government agency, they don't put procurement together with engineers. They put procurement with QS. Okay, so, or they have a procurement section, and in the procurement section, they get people like accountants or whatever to run the section. They don't really get engineers to be too much involved. And I think that is kind of not right. Okay, why? Because the project, the engineers is supposed to be running it, you see. So besides setting the overall procurement footing for the project, the day in, day out procurement also needs to be done with respect to the technical people as well. So when I see that a lot of external, I mean, a lot of company, when they talk about procurement, the engineers will go like, I don't have the information because it's done by the procurement section. Yeah. Like maybe contractor also, you have your procurement sections, and then like maybe agriculture also, you have a procurement section. Whenever you do something, and then whenever the project is going to be, you know, like starting already, then the procurement people will go, and then you go like, I don't know, I only here to see what is on my side, what is delivered on my side, you see. But isn't that something wrong here? Like, you are supposed to be the one who is purchasing, and yet you get somebody to go and purchase for you, and then you don't care exactly what your buyer is doing, you know, like the procurement people are doing, and they don't talk to you. It's just like when you want to buy something, you know, like let's say you want to buy a pair of shoes, so you got your sister or your brother to go to the mall and buy for you, you see, and then they never call you back and ask you, hey, I see this, are you sure you want this? I'll send you a picture, or, you know, double confirm with you. So that communication link is not there. And then when they come back, you go like, huh, what is this? You know, like, it's not really what I want, you see. So that is the kind of effect that we always see when you have a procurement section in the picture, and the procurement section is not headed by the engineering team, it's not headed by anybody who is very technical, or by project based, they never look for the engineers in charge to give them the right profile of the material, or the right whatever right system or technology guy, you know. Then they just go ahead and shop for the cheapest, because procurement section, the job is go for the cheapest. I'll sign the contract and go for the cheapest and get the delivery to be done and when to be done and all that. So I think, I mean, it's a bit fishy, it's a bit very dodgy here. I mean, like, I don't agree with that, you know. And even if you have a separate procurement system, the procurement system should be under the engineering group, you see, the engineering people. So you can get somebody who is actually to type the invoices, to type the PO. You only need somebody with a diploma, or some clerks can do it for you. But the important thing is it the right thing that you are purchasing? The negotiation, you can leave it to the ladies or to the club or whatever to do. They can do it very well. But you must be there to know what they are purchasing, you see? And that is the key thing. So if you don't get the purchase, what the item to be purchased correctly, that kind of procurement mentality or the procurement strategy, I won't want to use the word strategies because that is going to be confusing. That kind of procurement system is actually not right for a normal day in, day out procurement method. So, I mean, nothing is perfect, you know, we always seek to improve the system. But yeah, so that one, like I say, I want you to think of it separately compared to whatever we're talking here, which is the procurement management of the whole project. So from the procurement of the project, the procurement strategies, we move on to talk about the contracting strategies, because different type of contract will fit different type of procurement strategies, and it will also fit different type of project. If let's say your project drawings is not complete, there is still some phases in some designs are not complete, some calculations are not fully done, then you may not be able to go for lump sum contract. Okay, then you have to go for, let's say, schedule rates, you know, with provisional sums, or you can go for a lump sum contract with provisional sums. And if the provisional sums is very little, you see, not a lot, only one or two portion is provisional. If your provisional sum, a lot of things are provisional, then that wouldn't be a provisional. I mean, that is not a lump sum contract with provisional sum already. Okay, that would be a proper bills of quantities kind of contract, meaning that every quantity is not certain yet. It will be subjected to remeasurement later. So we spoke about that extensively in the contract strategy, like 1, 2, 3, 4 recording. So I think you must know your record. You must know all the different type of strategies that are available. So later on in your project, whatever that you are doing, you must understand the project characteristic and then see what is the best procurement strategy. If you really want to go for lump sum, there's no such thing as wrong. You know, you must be able to justify why you're going for lump sum. That's all. Yeah, the justification must be strong, because there may be a lot of other things available, you know, out there. You know, there may be maximum guaranteed price, there may be a cost plus contract, you see. And why do you want to use lump sum? Is there a specific reason that you want to use lump sum? So the actual work itself, the actual project itself, I will need you to justify which strategy is the best. Okay. So again, different type of project will suit different type of tendering mode. So we call it formally, in the beginning, you have your requirement cycle, which is you stating all the scope and all that, and then you go for a requisition cycle, and then requisition cycle is you are actually, I mean, like if you look at the notes, the requisition from the requirement cycles, we move into requisition cycle. From the requisition cycles will involve things like, you know, determining the strategies, you know, determining the documents that you want to use and all that. And then you move on to the solicitation cycles. And this word solicitate, in English dictionary, solicitate means to get it. Solicitate, you know. So you imagine that word, solicitate, you want to solicit it, you know, so meaning that you want to legally get somebody to do it for you. So this is a part, it's about selection of contractor. Very much is about selection of contractor. Okay. And so when your requisition cycles complete already, you know what kind of contracting strategies that you want, and then you're starting to prepare all the documents and what available documents are there, what should be in there. You know, different type of tendering strategies will actually require different type of documents. So whatever that is available, whatever contracting strategies that are available is, and then the method of procurement that you're going for will actually help to root out the type of solicitation cycle that you'll be embarking on to, you see. Because different type of tendering strategies will actually get you different type of people to come and tender for your job. Okay. Why do I say that? Does it make sense to you? You know, if I'm having a traditional procurement method, you know, traditional general contracting with the lump sum contract, these are very common, these are very typical kind of method, you know, and your project suits it, you know, you don't see any reason why you cannot use this tool, you know, you have good justification for it. Then when you think about the documents that are available, do you have the drawings, do you have the designs, do you have all the necessary information, site investigation? Okay, everything is fine. So yeah, so now I'm think about my solicitation process, which is the tendering strategies. How am I going to get my contractor? With this sort of mod, you will see that there are many people that are qualified to do it. You see, the pool of contractor is a lot. So when the pool of contractor is a lot, are you going to go for a type of method that calls everybody in, you know, to actually, then you go filtering who is the best? Or do you want to actually make it a more limited, more exclusive kind of tendering? Because if your project could be so common or so easy, then there may be a lot of people that can do it. So, you know, you could look at it, you can justify that, you know, because of that, I want to get the best price. So I will get as many people as I want. If I want as many people as I want, then I need to go for open tendering. Yeah, let me go for open tendering. Because if I don't go for open tendering, then I'll be like, you know, I'll be silly, you know, because then you've got like 20 people fighting for the job, then obviously most likely you're going to get a better price. Is price the reason, you see? But of course, then if you say that, you know, if we're going to go for open tender, there's so many people zooming in, and there'll be like 30, 40 tenderer. Are we going to like study 30 and 40 kind of, you know, pricing and all? That's a lot of work. So you may want to select, you know, you may want to select, go for selective tendering. You know you have a lot of, you have a, even if you select, there will be a lot of people that can do it, you see. So if there's a part that is not complete, for example, you need alternative design, you need proposal, then you may want to go for a, not a tendering, but a request for proposal, you see. So you see, different type of procurement strategy will also impact on the type of tendering strategies that you have. Besides, of course, the other elements like your company's capacities of, you know, your consultant capacities, the completion of designs, the completion of documents, you know, all this will have an impact onto the final, final strategies that you pick. So when solicitation process starts, okay, this is the part that, you know, you've got all your strategies all done, you know, this is, you're going to go for lump sum, you're going to go for design and build, you've got it there, you know, your contracting method, it will be by bills of quantity, it will be by remeasurement. So okay, fine, so we've got all that set already, set into the picture, so we're preparing all the documents ready for it. So now we are here in the solicitation cycle. It's the moment that you are ready and you want to know who can do the job for you. That is a solicitation cycle. Okay, so documentations have to be prepared first, and then invitation, some form of invitation, some form of calling must be there, you know, to send out to your tenderer, some form of information to your tenderer. So that moment when you're ready to call for your tender, call for your bidding, is the moment solicitation starts. Okay, and then you're sending out requests, and then they'll be getting back the proposal or the quotes or the bids or the tenders, and then you pick the right person with your rubrics and all that, and then they will, you will go through, you filter through, and who is the top three, and after that you pick the right ones, and then you move into the award cycle. Awarding means that you give them the letter of award. The moment you give them the letter of award, then the signing of the contract, etc., that one is under the award cycle. So once the award cycle is complete, work is progressing, and you got the contract management cycle. So then you're managing the contract already, the terms and conditions. Okay. So procurement, if you look at it, the whole picture is starting from you know what you want to buy all the way to you are managing the project, the contract until the end. And procurement are always linked together with contract management. Okay, which is not covered here in contract management, but you don't forgo it. You don't say, it's none of my business. Contract management is none of my business. Okay, it is because contract management is like you sign this contract. You need to manage this contract. Now, we human beings needs to be managed. We need to know how to behave. We need to be told how to behave ourselves. So a contract is about how to behave. But we don't want to use our contract and slap the contract on the table at every single issues and every single incidents that happen on site. What we need to do is we must know our contract very well so that when we are facing with certain issues, we know this must be our reaction. We must request for information, we must ask for claims, we must send in our claims, or we must apply for our EOT, extension of time. So if you know your contract well, you manage your contract well, it means that every action that you do is actually based on the contract prescription. Okay. But obviously, within that contract prescription of how everybody should behave, there is only 70% of the element. The other 30% of obviously it still boils down to the character of the person, character of the project manager, the character of the attitude of the organization, how mature, how strict is your culture in your organization, and how you proceed with it, and how you give a yes or no to the answer, and all that one also will form the human elements, the organization culture. That one will form another big impact to the project. I would say 30% is quite minimum. It will be more. Okay, a lot of time is the other way around. It's too much based on human element and not much on contract. That is a problem. Okay, so in fact, if you can hold it to 50%, you start off with understanding your contract, and then when the project is ongoing, you know how to resolve issues and dispute based on the contractual mode, and then yet you add in some reasonableness, logical, and think about the whole project objectives, and move in a better way, like human touch way. You're not robots, you see. So then the whole contract can be delivered in a friendly, non-adversarial, in a very efficient kind of model. I mean, when you're busy fighting with somebody, when you're busy thinking about how, the other party is trying to get the better of you, kind of thing, then you have no time thinking about how to make your job better, you see. So that is something that we need to be very careful with contract management. So I always say, because even I am in contract management myself all these years, but contract management to me is you cannot be holding it so strictly to contract. We still need to add in our logic, the situation. It must be still relative to the situation, to the people, to the environment at that point in time, making decision that is logical, reasonable, with contractual backing at that point in time. And that is a good project manager. Okay, not somebody who read it like I must follow A to Z, or even worse, somebody who never bother with the contract and just do whatever you want, like dang, 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 So that one is not healthy also. So we must keep it to some balance within contract and human. Okay, and so what is a tender? Okay, so tender is like an offer incorporates sum of money, time, and other conditions required to carry out the contract obligations. Because the moment you sign the contract is about duties, obligations, rights, and whatever you need to do in order to complete the project, you see. So it's very important. This is like setting the environment right first, you see. If you go around and set a wrong environment, wrong procurement strategy, wrong contracting strategy, wrong terms and conditions, imagine you are the engineer who's going to be receiving all this, and then you are the one on site, and then you have to deal with all this BS every day, you see. And it's because the initial things are wrong, you see. All the initial strategies are wrong, the initial terms and conditions are wrong. It doesn't fit, it doesn't suit, you see. So that setting of the initial, I cannot emphasize on that enough. I mean, like, I will go on talking about that for like 100 years if I need to, but then unfortunately, yeah, I mean, it takes time for people to understand. Okay, so yeah, so we have different stages of the project. This one we've gone through already, yeah, so no need to go through it again. So now once the design is complete, then we are proceeding to, get the contractor to, pick the right person to do the job. I think we talked about that just now, okay? So what is the purpose? To select the best person, to select the best service, to obtain the best provider, contractors, builders, suppliers, and to give you the best, you see. But before you can select them, whatever that you plan before that, of how to have that relationship with them is very important. The type of contract that you're going to use to make them work with you and have that relationship with you is very important. Yeah. So, so the purpose at this point in time is still okay to go back and relook at the strategies. When you already passed this stage, finish procurement, select the tender, award it to the contractor, if it's wrong, negative, it doesn't make a positive. Okay. It will be just garbage in, garbage out. And the worst person to handle this is the person who is at the end of the chain, which is site engineers, the site people. And things doesn't make sense, you still have to, and it's like, what to do? Yeah. So yesterday I've got students who ask me these questions as well. We're doing a contract class, you say that, like how contractor asks for request for information. And then your consultants are like not giving the information, and then they delay giving the information. And like then we're asking, do you think it's fair, for that to happen? So we all know that it's not good, you see. But why? My question back to them is, you as a client, let's say you are the client's engineer, you're working for a public works department, you're the client. Why is it that you are not voicing out? Why can't you just voice out and say that, hey, Mr. Consultant, I engage you to be my consultant, and can you please furnish the drawings now? It's like, don't drag on this, you see. So clients still have to say in a lot of things, you see. So some clients, maybe because they are the representative, so they actually feel like so nice if I cite the contractor. They feel like they're citing the contractor, but actually it's not. It's for the good of the project. Yeah. So when we talk about setting up that contracting method, which will actually subsequently affect the terms and conditions that will go to it, it's a very long chain effect. If you select lump sum contract, there will be certain terms and conditions that must be in lump sum contract. If you select design and build, there will be certain conditions that must be in design and build, you see. So, and then if you do other type of contracting like BQ contract and all that, there will be certain documents, certain clauses, certain items that must be there. So if you don't select the right thing in the first place, and then you simply put in certain documents, it's going to be very difficult for the people, the end people, the engineers from the client, contractor, consultant, at the end, this construction people is going to get the worst. It's the most painful for them. Okay. So the purpose here is to select the right people. Select the right people also means to build the right relationship. It's not only, it's just like, okay lah, just for the sake of having fun, if you want to get married, you can say that this is the perfect guy, this is the perfect girl, and you see him and you heard, oh, I want to marry this girl, or I want to marry this one. So we're talking about the suitable person, the suitable service provider, the suitable builder, this is suitable supplier. So yeah, you have a very suitable person, but you must, the other part of the equation is to build that relationship. Yeah, the most suitable person, if you don't build that relationship with the right foundation with this person, you're not going to get the results that you think you will get, you see. Especially on the construction site, it's not only about one-to-one, getting married is 2%, yeah. But this one is like, you talk about different professionals, different workers, different group of subcontractors, suppliers. You've got like end users, you've got the public in the picture. Sometimes you also got the clients, engineers, clients, architect, you know, the architect, the consultant, the QS, the M&E engineers. There's a lot of people involved here, you see. So setting up the right relationship, setting a foundation for the right relationship to build up is actually more important than just selecting at this point in time the right person to build it, you see. So even though tendering calls for the right thing, to right selection of the right people, or the right group of people with the right price, with the right kind of attitude to do the job for you, but the earlier relationship must be set down first. Okay, so that's why it's the third part. It's not the first part. We don't talk about tendering first. We talk about procurement strategies, about contracting strategies, then we talk about tendering strategies. Okay, so what is the objective? Yeah, objective is to encourage interest. The best is to get a good price, best value. Make sure that you give, because through this process you're also showing the contract documents, you're also showing what you want out of the process, and then when they offer you with the right price, they also must understand what is their rights and what is the obligations of the party involved as well. Okay, and then it will actually it also make a common ground for people to resolve issues. For example, if you have a proper tendering process or proper call for bids and proposal or quotation, it's a good chance that set up the environment whereby they can ask questions. If they go for site investigation, everybody go to get the same site information, and then the information are it's like when you're having a competition here, you want to make sure that the starting point is the same. Yeah. So tendering is like this, or tendering or bidding or quotation or whatever. Everybody should get the same information, so that when you run, who better, who gets so it's fair and square. So we must say that the field must be level. The field, everybody, when you're in that field, you main bola sepak ka, you main sepak takraw ka, whatever, the field must be level. It cannot be play volleyball, your side is 1 meter lower, my side is higher. Cannot be like that. Otherwise, how I can slam you, you cannot slam me back. You see, so not fair. So I think doing a proper process here gives time for them to, or everybody get the right information, everybody study the information over the right time. And then also you put in a inquiry period whereby you bring them to site or briefing or the same site information or then if they need more information, if somebody brings out a query you can actually answer that query for everybody. So that is the purpose of having this tendering process. Okay, but tendering process, I don't want to say it's only tendering, it's actually solicitation process. Okay, it don't limit yourself to that word tendering. Tendering could means by bidding, by tendering, by quotation, by proposal also can. Okay, so this is a place that you want to reduce any dispute, any likelihood of wrong information, and then make sure that the contractors know what they're getting into, what your requirement that you want to put forward. It is not wrong to request for top-notch quality job. It's not about you being strict or you being, nasty about things. It's about you state this in the beginning. If it's there in the documents that I need this to be done like that, there's no excuse. Yeah. So you cannot argue and say that, when you bid for a tender, you quote for this price, and then you come back and say to me that, oh yeah, nobody do it like this lah. The whole industry never people do it like this lah. I can do it like this guy. Like no, if it's so important to you, you make sure that the information get across to the people, your tenderer, very clearly. You need to quote for this. If I want to use gold paint, then I want to use gold paint 24K. Then you quote for 24K. Don't go and say that, hey, I see your 24K, but I never think that you really want 24K. Yes, I do want 24K, it doesn't matter. I like to, bling, bling, bling in my sleep. So that is my problem. It's not your problem. Your problem is to quote me the 24K, you see. If I want to pay my room in 24K gold, then I put it in my tender. I tell him specifically, or the tenderer, that you need 24K, don't give me 9K, or don't give me color gold. I don't want color gold, I want gold, you see. So when you want that, you specify that, you get the information across. You need to know, especially those things that really matters to the designer, really matters to the client. It has to be highlighted. Very important. I think that a lot of this tendering process, especially open tendering process, we are lacking of that, lacking of the information exchange. Yeah, and lacking of the platform to ask questions from the contractors as well. You know, maybe what they read it and they go like, sure, this guy, is it not a typo error? I don't think they mean 24K, right? Yeah. So then if they can ask questions, you know, that platform for asking questions, I think that will actually help a lot in the whole process of tendering as well. That should be the way it is lah. I mean, I would say lah, huh? So I think we all have learned about open tendering, selective tendering, you know, negotiation and all that. So open tendering, just to give you a quick overview, you know, usually you put up an advertisement in a newspaper or you put online, you know, nowadays, you know, a lot of things are online, you know. You still need to put in Malaysia, we put in 3 language like English, Bahasa, and Chinese. Newspaper about having a particular tender, yeah, that a particular project that is available for everybody to come and do. Then you set up the requirements, say, you know, I only want Class B license with what kind of head and what kind of subheads. So, by the way, head and subheads, for those of you who doesn't know what is that, is usually head means that they can do certain type of jobs, meaning that if let's say head 1, head 2, head 3, head 1 will have the list of things that they can do. So head 1 would be like maybe structure, what type of structure, you see. Then they will have subheads, you know, and then like let's say head 3 will be waterworks, but the waterworks is very big, huh? So they will have subheads. Subheads will tell you that, oh, they can do pipes, they can do what type of pipes, you know, and then they can do what type of water structures, can they do tank or no, you know, RC tank. So different group of headings and subheadings will tell you what kind of job that you can do. So very specifically, you need to get a contractor that fulfill your requirement, and that is the easiest requirement, and they must have license, they must be registered with our government, you know, like our state government or our federal government. We call it the PKK, UPK license. Yeah, those are very common things. So you set up, you put down the requirement, what you want and all that, based on the general requirement, and then you put down like when to pick up the tender documents from my office, you know, from where, what time, and then you need to fill up the forms, you know, in what manner, seal it up, you know, with no names or confidential or whatever. Then you bring it back and submit it by when, you know. So these are open tendering. Okay, so there any contractors who fulfill your basic requirement can come and get the documents. Yeah, and they will go back and they will calculate and then bring it back again at the time that is specified in the advertisement, and then you will close the door, and then, you know, you get all the documents back, finish at 12 p.m. or 5 p.m. Then after that, you receive no more, you know, you lock it up. It's very serious. When you lock it up, you lock it up. You know, in my time as engineers, you know, we've been through like different type of tendering system whereby, you know, so you are like 15 minutes late, you go like, should we let them have it or not let them have it? You know, it's like, it's very difficult decision, you know, if you don't meet the time. Even 10 minutes late is a question mark already. You know, are we going to disqualify you, you know, because of your 5 minutes late or 15 minutes late, you see? So there's always many theories here. Depends on the situation, I would say. If the project is very simple, if we still within 15-20 minutes, then we'll probably still accept it. But to be fair for everybody, some people will say, to be fair to everybody, we shouldn't be accepting it, we should disqualify the guy. And some people will say that, you know, some of the team will always say things like, if this person can't even submit a tender on time, means that you think they can do the job for you later. You know, that would be the attitude that we would take up. Some people would take that. And I can agree with that as well. You know, if you can't even come up like drive out of your office like, 1 hour earlier, then something is not right with the attitude of this group of people, you see. So I mean, it's always a very difficult situation that we put under when they want to disqualify because of the delay in submissions, you see. Like I said, the hardest, of course, if it's a 1 or 2 hours late, then the one is no talk already lah. Oh, we're definitely out already. But it's that 10 minutes, that 5 minutes, that 15 minutes, the one is the one that we got to, should we help or not help, you see. And there are some people who say that, oh, why don't we just like give them lower marks, or like factor something down, or but if you accept already, don't want to factor. I mean, you know lah, the difficulties when it comes to whether you want to disqualify because they don't meet the time, of submission. Okay. But likely, I would say 8 out of 10 situation, even 10 minutes late, they will be disqualified. Most likely, yeah. Okay. So yeah, then selective tendering will usually means that you select first, meaning that you send out your invitation first. This is by invitation already. It's not like an open, like you take your trumpet and you go like, pop, 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 there is a tender here, you come and tender. No, this one is like, okay, I send out an invitation. I have a project, I pick people that I work with before, I trust, and they all fulfill the certain requirement, and they're Class B contractor, maybe I send out to 10. So that will reduce the work as well, because you're basically knowing like who is coming for it. Because the rest is, let's say, open tender, you really don't know who is coming for it. There may be some very young contractors that to set up their companies, and you're not sure like, can they do it or not? And they send in all the documents, and you go like, pity them if you don't. Pity them, they also try to make a living, and then but you give them also, you'll be worried that my job later hang, like they have no experience or no financial backing or cash flow and all that. So we are worried about things like that. Yeah. So selective tendering eliminate that kind of worry. You already select, like you send out your invitation. So the rest of the process is the same. Okay. Then we also have negotiated tendering. So this one is more like you actually pretty much negotiate with 1 or 2 persons. This one can come in with open tendering and selective tendering, whereby you select 3 and then you negotiate with 1 of them, or all 3 of them, and then decide. Or you can use this method by itself, meaning that if it's a very specialized job, no one else can do it, and this is 1 guy or 1 or 2 guys that can do it. So you basically don't have to open it up for tendering or whatever. You just have to give them and then ask them to quote you, and then you go for a negotiation, just like that. Okay. This one will be usually very specialized services lah. And then there's also pre-qualification. Pre-qualifications means that you open up for everybody to come and tell you that they are qualified. And then you look at their company portfolio, you look at their work portfolio, you look at their machineries, their engineers, their capacities, their cash flow, their banks backing, or any industry backings or any partners, JV partners and all that. You look at all these things and then you select, I think I like these 5 guys the best. So that one is called pre-qualification. So they pre-qualify themselves first. So then that one is a bit like selective tendering, but pre-qualification, you don't send out the invitation first. You get them to come and tell you that they are qualified first. And then from there, you send out the invitation to different people. Okay. So serial tendering is usually for like maybe maintenance kind of project, and then you give up the tender to, like they will do like small jobs in between, and then they'll come and do maybe cleaning services. Sometimes they will do like maintenance, O&M, do maintenance. So they are going to be fit on your list of suppliers, or fit on the list as a service provider to come and do certain jobs over a period of time. So these are what we call serial tendering. So basically, you base it on, it's not a job, it's actually a series of jobs. Maybe a contract of 2 years, 3 years as your supplier, or as your maintenance contractor, or your operation contractors, something like that. So this sort of serial tendering is they will usually offer the pricing for items or the services. They don't really quote you a job. Okay? There's no specific projects. It's over a period of usually over time, but they will do things as and per when required. Okay. So to qualify yourself for that serial tendering, like let's say to supply water like which company to supply your company's water filter or water bottle, that big water that one is also like sometimes if we go through tendering, but it's not supply like for one project, one thing, so it's going to be whole Unima supply water. So then, over one year, we will use your rate kind of thing. So that one is serial tender. That one is considered serial tendering. Okay. So I think the rest is pretty much the activities in tendering, framework agreement. Yeah, this one is pretty much on together with the serial tendering. This is a similar thing that we have. So we have a framework agreement with the serial tendering, not so much of a specific agreement. One we have a MOA, memorandum of agreement for a project. That one is award cycle. So this one is a framework agreement that we usually be used to do continuous work like serial tendering. Okay, and then single stage and two-stage tendering. I've mentioned just now, sometimes we have a two-stage tendering. You can combine open with negotiation. You can open proposal with negotiation. You can open selective with negotiations. That's a two-step or pre-qualification and also selective later on. So these are one or two stage. You can go for one stage or two stage. Term tender, this one is more similar with the framework. Serial tendering with framework and term, these are all similar things, okay? Serial is more on the rate, series of project, based on series of project. This is more on series of work, I think. Yeah, so it's always on maintenance normally, these two. I mean, I think I should just shift this down a little bit. Shift this down, maybe it will work better. Okay. So stages of tendering, you got project definition, selection your tender documents, and then call for tenders, and then tender analysis and clarifications. So these are steps that you do in your tendering process. Okay. So selection of the most appropriate contract procurement method, and then development of the list, preparation of the tender documents. This has to be done first initially. So our procurement contracting strategies, our documentation, and then the list of items or list of people that you want to call for. If you don't have it, then it's fine. You can eliminate that, and then you start to call for it like through different modes. It can be by invitation, by letter, by email, and then also by proposal. By email is a bit dodgy lah. Sometimes we have email. It's very weird, whenever we receive emails, we always think that it's not very formal. And then I will tend to ignore a lot of these emails when people are inviting me to do something. You go like, if you want to invite me, you probably call me up or you probably write me a letter, kind of thing. Not so much about emailing me, unless a lot of times when we receive invitation to do something, we end up just ignoring it. So I think emailing may not be a very good way of calling for tender, especially selective tendering. So people will think that you're a con man. There's a lot of con job now. So that's why we get very scared. Then we have our receiving, opening up, evaluation, and these are the processes. So you can talk about the processes for your assignment as well later. Okay. Invitation, so the different ways of invitation over approval. I think these are all the same thing, I mean, like, let's not really have to go through all this. Okay. Invitation. These are the steps that I've talked about already just now. Responding, and then the last bit is the evaluation. This bit is the hardest. This bit is like when you want to pick the right people to do the job for you. What kind of approach that you do? I mean, I have a lot of issues with this thing. I think evaluation, there should be a proper way of evaluating every tenderer, whichever aspects that you're looking at. Is it price? Is it what selection criteria? Is it by the financial, by the capacities, by their, you have to be very clear about what you want from the contractor, and then there's doing the proper rubrics and all that. That is one way. Scorecard, you can do that as well. But again, everybody must be on the same level playing field, cannot be just one field. It's not fair to do that, So I mean, like one higher, one lower field. Like somebody has already got an advantage, and then you're just bringing in people to do your to do modeling or do whatever, just come and show face, just to make up the numbers. Come on, let's not do that. Let's not waste people's time, okay? So assessment usually will follow pricing, experience, past performance, any bad record, what are the management skills? Do they have any BIM? Do they have any IT systems to support their monitoring, controlling? Their methodology. Are they very good with certain jobs? Very good with certain steps of doing things? There's some contractors, they're very skillful in certain things, you see. So that may be one of your criteria. And they may have a lot of experience, and some of them has a lot of cash flow. The banking cash flow, I should have a cash flow somewhere here. It's supposed to be resources, they have good resources availability. It's very important to see the cash flow of the contractor as well by asking them to submit their bank's latest bank statements. If they're bank statements or if they are like their financial statements, then they go for auditing one. Normally we'll ask them to send in that one, and then. But sometimes your company don't have the economic people to look at it, then it's a bit difficult. So even they send you the balance sheet and profit and loss, you go like, what is all these numbers? Don't know, you see, so it's a bit difficult. Yeah. But if you do have people, your CFO, they know how to read these documents, then they will know this company is actually in good financial status or not. In the past few years, are they making money? Are they losing money? What kind of land bank they have? What kind of assets they have? What kind of liability they have? We've received tenderers whereby their liability is a lot higher than their assets. We've got like, hi, and these people can fund the projects or not, and then they send in things like JV partners and all that. So it's something to help them to win the trust. It's all about trust, actually. Why we evaluate them? Because we want to know that we want to give who are we going to invest our trust in, you see? So it's very important to study all the elements. Okay. So once the client has identified
but then the project is award, the JV is like
sleeping, or they are out of the picture.
Out of the picture. For example, by right, they should send that like the JV.
Do they have a proper JV? Okay. We've seen situation like that before. Yes. Sometimes some company, because their own financial status are not very strong, so they kind of like borrow their other company. But the notice here is very clear: is you must not only look at the letter. Letter means that sometimes some company, they get another company to furnish them with a letter to express their interest to join the project together. That one is very, very, you must be very careful. When they are only expressing their interest to collaborate, in the end, they cannot need to collaborate because it's only an expression. So if there is a real interest for this JV to collaborate, then you may even have to bring the other company in let's say if there is already a JV vehicle, meaning that they've already formed a agreement, that is better. You can ask them for that, because that agreement can be set up. They may tell you that we set up this agreement, then what if you don't give me the job? We already set up this agreement, then how? They will answer you like that. But you can say that there will always be a clause in the agreement that says that if we didn't get the job, we will split. So there's no harm done. It's only an agreement. But at least for the client side, when you got this agreement, you know that they've already embarked onto they have already macam like cantum already. A formal agreement with one another. So if in that case, if the scorecard is about this JV is so important to you, and then they end up not chantuming with this particular guy, or this guy's completely go out of the picture, you can bring it up. You know, normally when we say JV, it will not only means that you are signing it with this one company. It will be the JV between these two. The agreement has to be JV between these two. So it means that, like, let's say ABC JV with XYZ. So you're signing with a ABC-XYZ. So if it really matters, the big impact of them JV is one of the reasons why you give them the job, then these are the things that you must look for. A proper agreement between them, or who are you signing the agreement with? Yeah. There is cases like that because in the first place, they are just bluffing you. They're just bluffing you. They're just saying that because we don't have enough of machines, it doesn't look good on paper, you know, so they actually get their friends or whatever to say, you just write me a letter later on, you know, like, once I get the job, it's okay no more, you know, it's okay. So their friends just help them, you know, and then end up you think that they are, you know, you miss the boat of giving it to people who are really financially strong, or, you know, with the resources, you see. And then of course it's not very good for the client, but you can't do anything to them, because they, in the first place, they only show interest only. They never say that this is you didn't sign with the JV partner. So if you want to be very sure of the JV partner, that this is going to be a JV, if it's a very big job, I will make sure that I'm signing it with a JV partnering, not just one company. I will not do it. I have a situation like that whereby they put in the letter of collaboration with the JV partner, and then when they're doing the presentation, we ask them, where's your JV partner? Not here. And then when you read the letter carefully, it's only expression of interest. I mean, like, we show our interest of, you know, collaborating with this particular person. It's not even a firm letter. Okay, if it's a firm letter, it means that, you know, we are giving our commitment to joint venture, you know, for future, subjected to future JV agreement. That one must be in the picture. If not, then you have to be careful. You need to take it with a pinch of salt. You don't believe them first. Okay. So you say that if there's no JV agreement, I don't see any JV agreement here. It means that I'm going to mark you and I'm going to grade you exactly based on what your company have. So am I going to be signing a contract JV? We call it a JV vehicle or joint venture vehicle. So you must have a JV vehicle. Means that you are signing it with that vehicle. Boarding onto that vehicle is 2 different company or 3 different company. So if you don't have an agreement here, how should I trust you? They must prove it to you one. But in the event that you've already got con, you know, already muscled the plank up, now it's about how to get up. That one, in that situation, you can't do anything at all. You know why? Because you've already signed the agreement with that ABC company. You never sign an agreement with the XYZ company. So if they don't send their engineers, you also you cannot say anything about. Yeah. So contractually, they have no obligation to you. But you know that you have been conned. So that leaves a very bad taste in your mouth. So it also would means that you have to watch out for whatever this guy is doing already. There may be a lot of other issues, a lot of risks that will pop up because they are not actually together, you see. So in terms of whatever in the first place they are providing, you have to factor it into your project monitoring and risk already, at that time, be extra careful already, because it happens before, it will happen again. Meaning that they say that supposed to be they provide the engineers the expertise, so you know that now your project don't have the expertise. This fellow don't know how to do it. They don't have the expertise, so you must be prepared that something's going to go wrong. This is definitely Murphy's law. You think something will go wrong, it will definitely go wrong. Yeah. So you face that kind of situation. But do you sign with the JV vehicle or you just sign with that one company? The contract.
This company joint through project one.
But you can ask, you can ask, are they supposed to be, if it's supposed to be a joint venture thing, they will have to provide you with their agreement. At least if you're only signing with one company, at least there is a agreement there, because if you don't have that agreement, it means nothing. It's just face value only. Cakap saja, buka mulut saja, talk only. We've seen that a lot actually. Most of it you can read. The clue is always that JB letter. Or they could actually create a very simple agreement. If they're really going to do that, they can create a very simple agreement saying that there will be JV in the area of this, or the other guy can actually come up with a letter saying that they will be providing this. They will give you the exact duty that they will be doing. That one is probably a lot better. But again, if you don't sign with the JV vehicle, again, it is a risk that you have to take. Your company has to take because in the end, they could be due to any reason. There can be any excuse saying that, we break up already, then what can you say? You see, you already signed with one company. So the best is, if you really want it, if it's so important for these two companies that you're awarding to is coming together, then they will have to do a JV vehicle. That is, the signing will be with the JV vehicle. It will not be with the one single company. To stop here. They need to form a separate vehicle, meaning they will have to form a separate company, temporary company or some sort. Then together they do the job. And then you sign with this JV vehicle. And then the two company will be signing, the both partner, the both director of the both company will be in the agreement. That one is a sure thing. Many projects, if they do it with JV, they do it like that. So the client don't only just sign with one party, it will be two parties. Or if they sign with one party, there will be a separate agreement, and that separate agreement needs to be confirmed by they will send it to the client for keeping also. You can request that. Simply because you can tell them that the reason for it is not because we want to mess around with your company's management. It's more for us knowing that your record later on, that you are in the way resources, we are more confident in you in that way. Yeah, so it's actually better for the interaction between the two parties. And also you would know, like, I mean, like, you probably cannot go like telling them that you want to go and look for this guy or this guy. It still have to be whoever you sign the contract with, strictly lah. Yeah. If they have a JV vehicle with the agreement and you are signing with one of them, you can ask them to send you the agreement for a record purpose, to show that there's another company on site here and they are not subcontracting, because subcontracting is a different effect. Yeah, so if they are partnering, it's different. Okay, so you want to know that, because we want to know what is the contractual arrangement here, to be clear. Because if you are going to take my job and sub it to another person, that's what we don't want.
At the end, it's kind of like this. So the JV actually their subcontract. but we just do better. Reason.
So they tell you that the subcontract.
Then,
Full sub?
for the civil works.
So instead of the beginning part of a JV, then they end up with a subcontracting lah. Well, if it's subcontracting, if it's not a full sub, then it's not so bad lah. If it's a full sub, then there's something that you have to be very careful lah. If it's just like a civil work subbing, like they do structures and then the civil work is done by the other group of people, it's subcontracting. The responsibility still goes back to the original guy lah. So whatever went wrong with your subcontractor, I still look for you. So you hold on to that. You hold on to that. Okay. All right. So I think I don't want to go too much into all this. I mean, like it's already all here. Okay. I think you all can read through this quite easily. It's very clear already. The processes, tender evaluation, and how we select, and what kind of criteria, and then after that we come up with the letter of intent, letter of acceptance, and letter of award. These three stages are very different from one another. And then you express interest, and then after that you accept. Accept is not. This is not really a very good procedures. Normally, acceptance we don't really need an acceptance letter but in some cases there is normally we go for a letter of intent straight away to letter of award. Award is the strongest acceptance is just to show them that they just to tell them that they are successful and you are accepting them. I mean, depending on the service, what kind of nature of job if it's services, maybe acceptance is okay. But normally a big project, we will normally go for letter of award, and that is the most important letter. The rest is just talk only also. Talk only also. Okay, so letter of intent and letter of award is a letter of acceptance and letter of interest. Intent is absolutely no value one. This is I'm telling you, I intend. If I tell you that I intend to give you exam on when, but then later on I don't give you, you can't look for me. I don't have to be responsible for what I say. You see, so letter of intent, it has that kind of impact. Letter of acceptance means that you basically accept. You haven't even, this is not about award also. It's only about they are successful. They are one of the successful bidders normally, and then there will probably be negotiation going on before things are finalized. Okay. So again, letter of acceptance can be formed as part of the contract documents. But again, legally binding will be letter of award. So awarding, that one will be the last stage of the whole process. So this whole 1 to 6 stage processes of evaluation all the way down to letter to award is what is the last stage of procurement. It's like pre-award stage. After that is the award. After award is the management of the contract. All right. Okay. I think that's all from me. I can talk a lot more if I want, but better not lah. Anyone else? Anyone wants to go for the presentation first? Who wants to be the hero here? Anyone? Atul? Natasha? Natasha? Who? Natasha and Zaid, right? Come, let me enjoy myself listening to you talk. So you want to go first? Good.
I want to go to Thailand.
Uh-huh. Oh, you two go first. Yeah, you go first. Right, go. Natasha, you here, Natasha? Hey, how come suddenly that Natasha side silent? Lined up to spot. Hey, right, go. Okay. Rosalie also wants me to ask you how is it going with with her assignment. So I'll be asking questions at the same time. Huh? Are you doing individual work, right? Hey, who is ready already? Have you saved the data? Come, let's not waste time. Otherwise, we're gonna go home late, huh? Grace? Huh? Good for you, Zai. You're the man. You know the share screen?
Yeah.
Have you completed Dr. Lee's assignment? Like, BGT is the work breakdown structure, am I right? Or is that a work breakdown structure? She asked you to calculate the productivity. Activity duration, your duration is based on productivity rate, right? And after you produce using Microsoft project. Have you finished all that?
Check.
Hopefully, huh? And you have any questions you can ask me? So did you do your material breakdown on the material labor machinery breakdown, right? Or just how did you get the productivity rate? Okay, it's good. So this is your work breakdown structure, am I right?
Yes, so this is,
Are you sharing screen?
I
You
think
share the screen
so.
so that everybody can see on the other side as well.
Yeah. So,
The other three on the other side, can you see it?
hello guys.
Natasha, one thing.
Yeah.
Can see, you can see Excel, huh?
So this is,
Hi, Natasha. Hello.
I think she's driving.
Driving.
Yeah. So this is our project. So what we choose road project. And then, so
How
this
many levels do you have? Like
4 levels. And
four
then
levels, how many activities, major activities you have?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16 and 17, including portion sum. So if we have 16 activities, so we already create a template for the machinery schedule. So this is the machinery schedule. Just that, yeah, just that we haven't yet look at how many machines that we're gonna use.
Like these are all the machines that you are planning to use lah. So you just want to go through it and sort of like put the numbers in for which one of them, right?
Yes. So same thing with the manpower. So
Site engineers, consultants, and all that, they are not exactly under manpower. They are under the management.
management. Okay.
So when we talk about manpower, we want to concentrate on site supervision team and above. I mean, site supervisory team, also surveyor, they will be belonging to the management
Management.
as well.
Okay.
You will be looking at workers, really workers onwards. Yeah, like carpenter, mechanics, and all that. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Right here.
And then we have another for manpower production, right? So this one, I did look up in the internet. So we still trying to fill in the correct rates for manpower, doctor.
Right. So your material, so okay, so you're gonna get your production rate for manpower. Are you gonna get your production? I think this one here, let me see more. How do you plan to? Because some of them is probably machinery based. So
Yeah. So we also have this one for production calculation. So I'm not sure yet how we're gonna combine the ones that includes machines and manpower, but from the duration, so we are still on question on that part, doctor.
okay, never mind. I think you do your material machinery. Can I see your material schedule, please?
Material. This one.
Okay, so if your material schedule later on, you put in all your materials with the quantity, very
Yeah.
important. Okay, and then that quantity will help you to calculate your
Production.
rate. Production rate, the main thing is you want to know how many days that you are using.
So
This, if the production rate has been already done for your assignment, the lead, actually you don't really have to get here.
so right now we did separate machinery and manpower, but for this production calculation, we already have the quantity here. So for the production rate here, should we combine the production rate for both machinery and manpower, or we just take the production rate of machinery
You combine.
combine?
So you have your manpower and manpower production rate and also your machinery production rate. And these two, you can do like a estimator workshop, estimator worksheet like this, you can put it together.
Mhm.
And then from there, you will have two duration. One that comes out from the manpower, one that comes out from the machineries.
Okay.
So once you've got that, if the two doesn't match, meaning that let's say machinery is a lot faster, then if you don't want to adjust any more manpower, then that's fine. Just leave it as it is. Okay. But if you think that maybe machinery is very fast, like they can do so many jobs, but my manpower is actually slow,
Mhm.
but not that much slower. You see, so maybe you want to add in more manpower. Okay. So the purpose of this is to get the duration. So once you get the duration, then you will see from there which one of these will govern. Then either you adjust or you don't adjust the manpower, or you adjust or not adjust the machinery. So then you will have a final duration. the final estimated duration for that particular activity. Okay? With that particular activity duration, okay, you will take it, that one will be your fixed one already. Then when you calculate the cost later, it will be the quantity
of the labor
times by this,
What?
by the duration times by the rate. Okay, the purpose here is not to come up with the schedule. The purpose here is to come up with the cost.
costing. Yeah.
So I think at the moment, your manpower schedule, your machinery schedule is looking fine. Your material schedule are looking fine. I think it's just the list of machineries with the list of manpower. You've got to somehow put them two together nicely, calculate the duration. I think if you do this, you cannot base it on, are you basing it on activity? You are still basing it on activity, right? Yes,
Yeah.
That's fine. All right, so you've got these two lists.
Yeah, for machinery and manpower.
Then you will have a finalized thing. Yeah, and that finalized thing will be part of your cost calculation. All right, so that looks fine to me. It looks fine to me. Everything looks like set to be okay. Yeah, that is a good point later on. Like how to explain, you must take out some of these and explain it. Don't just give me tables. You see? Like for example, you say you get a production rate for this, get a production rate for this, and then after that, you didn't adjust the manpower because and the machinery will, the manpower will install once you use the product, the thing, duration for the manpower, because you don't want to choose the machinery or you don't want to increase machinery anymore. So whichever's lower is the one that matters. Then that will be your duration, and that duration, if it's not adjusted anymore, you feel like this is what you want to keep it as it is, then that duration will be used to calculate your cost for it. You will show a calculation, material cost, or labor cost, or machinery cost, based on the duration you have, and then that will be whatever's labor that you have. Very careful. This thing must join together.
Okay.
Right. And then that is a report. You have a report that you can show to
Not yet. We haven't started the report.
Fine. So any idea what kind of contracting strategies you think we should use? Because yours is very much a lot of things are actually on material.
Yes. Not yet, Doctor. We haven't discussed on that yet.
You want to think about because we're not asking that so your contracting strategy. So I think that lump sum would be better, or this case would be something like lump sum with provision or a remeasurement contract with actually waging more beneficial. It looks like everything's fine with the bank.
Yeah.
Remeasurement contract, if it's too complicated, really it's not. Because it's difficult for you to control like concrete pouring. Okay. So then I say 5 million, you say I only put 3.5. Then there are a lot of issues. But with rock work, it may work. Okay, so it's something you need to.
Okay. So that's all our progress right now. Okay.
At least I know where you are standing. All right. So good job.
Thank you.
Okay, one question. Number, who wants to go next? Rex, you go. Usually the first person is the hardest something after that everybody wants. Then nobody wants to be the last person. So smart are you all start to go on share screen. No one wants to go over there and look at. Then I go and sit there and then they can see my face.
Hello.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so this is our WBS.
Mm.
Hello.
You want to move down a little bit?
Move down.
Or
I think you better turn off your, yeah, because we can hear you already. Yeah. You don't have to unmute yourself. Please mute yourself.
Yeah, it's not moving, but
It's not moving.
yeah.
Maybe the line is a bit slow.
Oh, no, but okay.
How many layers do you have?
2 layers.
I mean, as in, how many?
17.
17. Okay, that's fine. What kind of project is this?
Day one.
Day one. Whole. Okay.
And moving on to the production rate.
Oh, the numbering of your thing, I don't like it when you do like one. Your WBS should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight away. Don't want to use 1 point something, 1 point something. Then you end up with 1.1 kind of thing, So too much.
1.
Yeah, just 1 and then 1.1, and then 1.1 point. So up to your bilingual is going to be just 3.1.1.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So this should be 2.
Yeah, just put 2 lah.
Okay. Moving on to the production rate. We got the productivity rate from, actually I got this from my intern last time. So the productivity rate is already there. But the thing is, when we want to calculate the duration, like the one I'm highlighting here, for some, the duration is 0 hours, which
You see your productivity rate now. What is your productivity rate based on? Is it based on machinery or is it based on manpower? We cannot see that. So it's like you're saying that, in order to do 1,000 meter square, the productivity rate is 50 meters cube per hour, for example. But that 50 meter cube per hour is from what? Is it your gang? Like,
yeah,
your GAN, or is GAN of machineries plus your people, or is your people, like what rate is that? You see, you already straight away have a rate, but this rate is whose rate? Not as in where you get the rate from. It's like whose rate is it? Is it me, my rate, the way that I run, or the way that you run? So is it the manpower rate or is it the machineries rate? If this is heavily like site clearance is very heavily based on machineries, then you may not even need to consider labor. Okay, so it's like how fast the machinery can go. But there are circumstances whereby some of these things are very labor intensive. So if it's labor intensive, the duration will be very long because of the labor intensity. Even if you put down another 2 machines, if you don't give enough of people in the job, you still cannot finish it within the period. So this rate here that you're putting down is very fishy at the moment. So you should be doing it like arrange for the machinery and manpower first before you go and do the rate. 2 machine working and 1 machine working and 5 machine working, all the rate are very different. Okay. So I think you should do your all this first, yes. So you got 1 excavator, 1 dump truck, okay. And how many labor for this particular activity? Can you go to your RPC manpower? So you got general workers, surveyors, so 2 general workers, and matching with 2 machineries. Does it come with the operator or no operator? your machineries, because you've got general workers, or this general workers' duty is probably to pick up certain things, you know? Yeah. But I also feel like if it's a lot of things to do, then with two machineries working together with two workers with dump truck, is it enough, 2 person? So you can go by gang, meaning that this group of machineries with these two general workers, the production rate is how much? Also can. Or you need to work on this two workers can do work for how many acres, or for how many, you know, the clearance is they can do how many meter square in a day, you know, like maybe they can do 5 or 6 meter squares or 10 meter squares, and then your machineries can chop down trees for, you know, how many meter squares, you know, then the production rate is different already. But at the end of the day, it's the duration that comes out from this.
So meaning I add another column here and put the productivity rate based on labor, right?
There will be one based on labor, there's one based on machineries. Then you will have the days that they use.
Doctor, from the example of your estimate sheets, right? You include the product delivery from gang. What
Gang means that you, instead of splitting up the machineries and manpower separately, you put like a fixed gang, meaning that this one machine will have 5 guys together. This is like one unit like that. But that one you need to be sure that the movement of this one gang is fixed. I mean, like, it cannot be like, the manpower has to be enough for this one machine, you see. It's assumed that when this machine goes this rate, this 5 or 6 or whatever is enough to go together with this particular group. I mean, these particular machines. So it's like you need to consider the gang first before you move into this particular productivity rate. Yeah.
Meaning if we are able to look for the productivity rate for gang, right? We don't need the productivity for machine anymore.
Both. You don't need for both.
And labor also.
Yeah. Unless some of the thing is no machine based, only just labor, then you must have it labor. But it's not like you can look for the machinery for the gang. It's more like you have to understand that this machine can do how much work in a day. So then, in order to match this machine, you need to put in that amount of people to match the machines. So you're actually like working the other way around in that sense. This one allows you to put in, let's say if you don't have enough of people in your site, like here in the gang, we assume that, you know, if I need this one machine, if I need 5 guys, I will have 5 guys. Then that makes one gang. But if let's say here, this type of method with both lists is like you can fit your labor, you can fit your machinery. Yeah. So it's like there's a flexibility there. But I'm fine with both, okay? Any questions from the both of you about your assignment from Dr. Lee? It's the same process, isn't it? Then you just have to convert it to a schedule later on, right? I can foresee that you all don't have much problem coming up with this thing, you see. So all of you, all these things, you see, your own format and everything, it all looks quite good, you see. Zai one was quite good. Yours too, so okay also. all of them are okay because like his is more like he goes by he put in all the name of the machines, you know, then yours is like you just fit in whatever machines there, you see. So that is your own way of thinking, his way of thinking, which is fine both, you know. There's no such thing as I like which one better, but it's just a matter of your report later on, how you do the reporting. I mean, I have my personal preference, obviously. I mean, like I'll be lying to you if I don't have personal preference, but you know, but it does not mean that everybody can need to do the same thing, you see. Again, every project, there's a project manager is the human element here. We are not molding AI.
Like for the material, so like finding to how much file, right? Like for example, I plan to file this solution sound. So I do budget that estimate on for my file actually. That's how I estimate my
Quantity, yes, yes. Because even provisional sum, you will have a quantity there. It's just that when you do the calculation later, it will be based on the actual that happened. If the payment will be based on the actual. So when you're doing an estimation, it's going to be whatever sum that you have plus the provisional sum. So the provisional sum is the part that will change. Yeah. So even you do a cost calculation now, it's about piling 2 piles. Think based on the SI 2 piles, you write 2 piles first. If it's 12 meter set, then 12 meter set. Can be based on Bollock, can be also based on Macintosh prop tests. But on site, we will definitely face situation that you need more, or sometimes you may need less, you know, it doesn't go down anymore. Yeah. So that will be if it's known that this is a provisional sum, then we do expect some changes in the actual. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with whatever that you estimate here first. Except for the fact that maybe you need 3 to pulse 3, mostly 3, and then your estimation was 2, then the time wise may run off a little bit, you know, it may be taking a bit longer for piling work. So when it comes to piling work, you must give a bit more leeway in terms of the time. Okay, and any more questions from you, Sue? And Diane, right? You're Diane, right? Oh, no. Oh dear. Sorry.
Okay.
So how do I address you again? You're not Afika, eh? Afika is you. Eh? And you are?
one.
Oh, Shafawani. Oh, yeah. Shafawani is the one from Terengganu. Bye.
So it's the example of productivity gain, right, Dr. Win? Because I'm like,
Next group, get ready, yeah.
yeah. Experimental what factor and with one algorithm.
The only product. Yeah, so for that, how about gang? Let's not gang. This we talk about gang productivity. So many productive things.
Di mana 5-14 Mas main lagi.
For this operation.
Atul yang malaki lang lain Western Digital.
Let me
Dr. Lee.
So yes, so
Western Digital. Kami ang halfway.
mute it. Okay, who's next? Afika. So 2 groups done already. We've got 4 more groups to go. Isabel, Grace, and these 2 side, huh? Hazia, can you go first? Or Afika, can you go first? Nazaitu, are you around? Nazaitu, are you going to help your friends? Or you want to do the presentation? You share using Webex, boleh. Just that you don't mute, you don't unmute yourself. Otherwise, there'll be echoes. Okay, okay, this is your work breakdown. Looks good. How many how many activities? The thing, is this more structure? Okay, and then, so work breakdown, no issue. So can I look at your format? So you have your excavator production rate and duration, and then so you're gonna have 2 excavator working? Because under the label, there's another, or you just copy and paste, huh? Operator, is it? Operator, I think should be synchronized as that one. So do you have any other label working for it? Like labor, for example, the site clearing, you only have operator. Do you have any labor to pick up the debris and all that? Macam tak complete lah, huh? Yeah. Still not complete, huh? So you're just copying this over lah, huh? To show that later, like you're going to change it to labor, right? So you're going to get the production rate for both, and then the selected duration, and then the remark. Okay. Looks very clean. Looks very clear to me. Yeah. Any issues you have from your group? Nazaitu, you're around. Nazaitu, you want to ask any question? So you do not know. So at the moment, like all the productivity rate that you write here is mainly the machine productivity rate, is it? Labor usually would be like, again, it will probably be the quantity, how much they can do, how much area they can cover in a day, how much brick they can lay in a day, how much concrete they can do in an hour, in a day, that kind of thing. Yeah. So you can get from past projects if you want, if you have. It has to be reasonable, that's all. You know, productivity rate does not have to be accurate. There's no such thing as a standard rate out there. Because different, especially labor, there'll be different people working at different pace. Even if the same carpenter, carpenter A and carpenter B, their production rate can be different. So you don't, the rate that you give has to be logical lah. Yeah. For example, you know, the carpenter can do 100 meters square a day. You know, you can actually just interview people if you have subcontractors, I mean contractors frame, how much their labor can do, like how many pipes can they join in a day, and then what kind of circumstances, normal circumstances, like let's say a good weather, normal circumstances, they work for 8 hours, they can do how many pipes a day. That one is a good production rate already. Like they can do like, you know, 30 pieces. Yeah. Because like, for example, pipeline, it will have to be by labor. Even though machine can dig. So machine can dig like whole stretch, 1-2 km in a day. But the joining will be based on the labor. So in that case, that activity will be machine jaga the labor. You see? Whereas site clearing is how fast the machine can go. The labor is only there to pick up the debris and clean up the site and all that. Their role is not as strong as the machine. So you must see like each and every one of the work here. Which one is the governing one? Which is the more important factor here? Without it, it cannot go on. Piling, for example, is really how many piles that they can piles, the machine can piles in a day, but piling, I would say, is machines, not so much of a labor. Labor is just to bring it to the position, hold it to the position. It's the machine. Yeah, if the machine is not strong enough, or the machine is the hammer head is not good enough, then it will be very slow. So piling is like, while the machine is piling, the guy can go and pick up the next pile and put already. So actually, the machine will be the governing one. You don't have to compare production rate with production rate you don't have to compare the production rate from machine and manpower like what Zai is doing. You don't have to. What you can do is every activity you have to sort of like explain which one is the more important one, which one you close up lah, macam tu lah. Which one you close black, which one you use the highlight lor. And then from there you use that rate also can. Meaning that, like, let's say piling. So you say you're going to have 3 labors, but that one is not so important. So you directly cancel out that already. You say, okay, we go for the machinery production rate. Like concreting is not machine. Concreting will be the labor. Carpentry, all this will be the labor. Because the machine can come and pump, but then they can pump, but then the thing is the labor will be the one that's more important to set up the formwork and all that. So you can approach it that way if you want. But I don't see much issue with the format lah. Yeah. It depends on your comfortableness lah. I mean, like if you feel like some people like to use gang, you know, some people like to use like they just do straight away machinery production rate, labor production rate. They just do both. It's a lot easier, you know. You don't have to think. You just have to put in the rate, put in the production rate, and come up with the days, and then which one is longer, then you pick which one. That one is also very straightforward. Okay, like I said, some people may say that, okay, I know, for example, like site clearance, demolition. Labor is not so important. You know, I can put 2-3 labors and they are not going to matters, you know, because the work is still based on how much they can clear in a day. So then machinery is important. So I base it on machinery. But that one requires a bit more argument and your logic lah. That's the stuff. Like cutting of power heads definitely labor. So you don't even have to think about machine, you know. Just say that who is the star here lah, huh? In another word, who is the main actor, who is the sub who's secondary actor, second lead, who's the male lead, who's the second male lead, who's the female lead, who's the film. That is what I'm trying to say here. You know, you in that method is that you need to know who is the star here. Okay. Therefore, for that activity, is machinery the star or is it the manpower the star? But which one governs? Any questions from you, your group? Any more questions? Okay. I see that most of you have no problem coming up with this estimator worksheet, which I'm quite happy in that sense. Mm. Because you have your work breakdown now. So from this work breakdown, that is your project already. You see, so with all this activity, is it very material based or is it very heavy labor based or is it easy to be measured? You know, these are the questions that you ask. This is based on the project itself. Is the drawing completed? Yeah. How's the design like? Is it a very complicated design? So these are the questions that you have to think about based on the project itself, based on the work breakdown that you have. That is the center of the project. Then the second layer is the environment. The first layer, environment, say the organization, who is your client? Yeah? Who's the contract? I mean, what kind of contractor that you need? You see, what kind of designer that you need? And then also you think the last layer, the outer layer, the local, will create the local factor, and then the outer layer will be other things that is affecting the project. So then from there, when you do that square box thing with the circles inside, when you put in those system thinking, then you are able to explain like which of the method actually is better for, like which of this has a very strong impact on the project. Is it the project itself? Is it the material itself? Or is it like, if it's a very small project, then maybe we can just go for lump sum. And then, but lump sum is you need to make sure that all the quantity are very fixed. The design is very fixed. There's nothing much to change anymore. So like I said, road project, civil project is very much on site. You may have different things, you see. So there's a good chance that their kind of project may have to use BQ. Because if the structure is like so complicated, I mean, like you want to measure, you want to do remeasurement later, it's a lot more complicated than measuring the road, you see. Remeasurement only works when if the component of material is not very complicated. Like for example, pipe, you can count how many pipe. Drainage, you only have RC, you don't have concrete, you only have reinforcement steel, you only have piling. So it's very simple, only a few things. But if this one here, you got architectural work, you got all this interior, you got this lighting, you got this wiring, a lot of minor things. So if we subject to remeasurement, if there's dispute later on, are you going to knock off the whole wall and see what is inside there? It's quite impossible. If you base it on invoice, that is another problem. You can say that, oh, I base it on invoice, whatever that's delivered to the site. But what if they say that, oh, you're just wasting material, You say you bring so much to the site, but we didn't see you bring so much to the site. There's a lot of dispute because of that. So I can say the project itself, like whether it's a very heavy machine-based car, very labor-intensive car, or whether it's the material has many components. This one you have to study from the project itself. So remember when we draw that square thing, the square, the center thing is the project itself. What do you mean by the project itself? Definitely the activities, the parts, the components. Followed by the external one. The second layer will be the organization, the local factor, the local authority, the local availability of labor, all these things will be the second layer directly impacting Yeah. Then the third layer, which is in the square one, would be other issues of, for example, heritage culture, environmental issues, technological transfer, materials, the material as in you're using a different type of materials or different type of system or different type of technology. These sort of things will actually impact the project as well. So that is a very external, you see, very external layer. So when you study that, you study that, and then you justify why you want to use that contracting strategy, followed by the tendering strategies. Maybe you can treat me as a client, and then you all are proposing a project to me. So what method should I go for? You have to advise me. Does it make more sense to you when we do it like that here? So meaning I'm the client, you guys are the proposal, you guys are the tenderer in a way. Or you not the tenderer, you're not a contractor, you're more the designer, the consultant, my advisor sort of things. I'm your boss, you're my advisor, so you advise me to go for which type of tendering method or which type of contracting method. Grace, you want to?
Actually,
It's okay.
I remember a lot when I left my file Excel and then my check home and the laptop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is your project report, huh?
This this that I did project actually for extension of the substation of RNT project. So the few works are already some survey taken out. Not of operation. I think not more routine work back. This is the
This is actually the breakdown by other people, huh? So I don't want you to take it from Primavera or whatever and paste it in. You should draw it out yourself, okay?
yeah. I took my Excel actually I did I didn't repeat it from your last
I'm not sure whether you have enough of layering to it, huh? Double check for that because it's like you say piling, but then if you can break it down some more, I think will be a bit more helpful. Can you move down?
so I foundation.
Are you working for SEB, is it? SEB they are using a lot, they are using purely Primavera now. This one is Primavera punya standard. But like I said, I don't want you to cut and paste Primavera. Huh? You should rethink about how you want to do your work breakdown. Right. Go, move up. I want to see. Yeah, I can't see it moving. It's not moving, is it? Okay. Yeah, so you reached the work breakdown stage, huh? Yes, you have to, if you didn't bring your Excel worksheet, that means we haven't able to look at it yet, huh? It's okay. Try to email me, if you can, okay? Yes, and you need to redo your work breakdown. I don't want to see that, okay? All right, Hazia. But you must try to show me the breakdown and also the breakdown of the work and all that. If not, then yeah. I mean, like, and you're working with Wan Bing. Is he contributing to your work?
I got to give him the big queue to review.
Okay. Mm. Try to get him to work on the breakdown also. Breakdown as in the manpower or machineries or something like that. This is your work breakdown?
This one, so actually our is still
So you're gonna go in one sheets like this, huh?
but we still don't have the so it's the cost estimate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, in the end, you need to show us the cost estimation of the final one. This is very important. This is the last bit.
Oh.
Yeah, but the middle bit you don't have. How should you arrive at all this when you don't have? Like manpower 5 days, machinery 1 day.
Actually, it's my first project, so I just do.
Yeah, but if you're gonna give me like this, you're not gonna score, I can tell you.
So this one is the last one.
Yeah.
So we just do the
You can keep it like this as an estimator worksheet if you want to. So it means that you've got the final amount, material, labor, and then how you add up all these things to be the final project sum. Yeah.
Okay, so we just do the labor and Gaia.
You cannot prove to me why is it 5. Why is it? It cannot be your experience. Okay. So whatever that you write here, for example, 5 days and manpower, machineries, like 5 is what? 5 manpower. But then how 5 manpower, but work for how many days? You don't have it, you see. It's only 5 times 2, 10 plus 1, 5, so they're only working for 1 day. So you've got days completely missing in your manpower. Your machineries have days, but where does that days come from? This one cannot be you just punch in the number. I can accept it now because you're just saying that you haven't done it yet, but you already do the format. This is your final estimated worksheet. Whatever numbers that you put inside here, like 1, 11, 5, 11, 8, 11, these sort of numbers, you've got to have proof, you know. You've got to work out on your production rate, your labor breakdown, your machinery breakdown, and then your production rate. From the production rate, is how many numbers of days that you're going to be using to do that particular activity. Then you baru dapat calculate the times it with the rate and get the amount. You see? Otherwise, if you only have this, that means you already missed the whole section of the assignment in the middle part that you didn't calculate your production rate. This one you can key in any numbers now. You can key in any numbers now. So what does that tell you? It doesn't make sense. Correct or not? It cannot be from your previous experience. It's an estimated worksheet is you need to work it out from a systematic format, which means the simplest is to break down for the activity, that particular activity, what is the material, what is the manpower needed, what is the machinery needed. The manpower needed is not only the numbers of manpower needed, it's numbers needed over how many days. Otherwise, you can't get the cost. No way. Huh? So you said that you got quantity 2, is it 2, 3 and 2, and times by the rate. So they're all working for 1 day only? What does that 3, 2 means? That means this is all wrong already. Huh? So your operator could be working for 10 days, you're only paying him $630. So where is the days? Where is your days? It's not there. Machinery, you have the days there, but how did you arrive at that day? You said to do that amount of work, 1 day enough ka? So again, it has to be based on the basic is the productivity rate. The most fundamental is the productivity rate. How much work can that machine do in a day? And there's this amount of work. So roughly it can do how much? For over how long? So 1 day I can only do 1 meter cube, 100 meter cube. You've got like 1,000, you've got like 10,000 meter cube. Then it will take you 10 days with that one machine, or 100 days with that one machine. So if you don't have 100 days, you have to put in 2 machines, 3 machines. Then you can reduce it down to 33 days. Production rate is the most basic. There's all other factors as well coming in. And I didn't even get you to consider those other factors. Other factors are site condition, like weather conditions, soil conditions, locality, project environment. These are all considerations that you need to put in when it comes to cost. If your locality is far, your rate will be very different. So this is actually just a study of like overall format of how you can arrive with, creating your own estimated worksheet that makes sense, you see. In actual fact, there's a lot of other things that you need to consider based on the rate itself, based on the quantity itself, based on the days itself. Yeah, if you want to go in depth, better, you get good marks, higher marks, you want to, like I said to Zai just now, when you say this and this, like, do you want to increase the machineries or do you want to decrease the labor, like then you must justify, you see. So when you justify which one is the governing one, then that governing one will be the duration that you'll be using. So that means even though labor is working for 5 days, your machineries is working for 1 day, but are you sure that you're going to be taking your machineries and only making it work for 1 day and then asking them to go home again? So most of the time, if you have no other jobs for the machines at that same period of time, you still have to pay the machines. So you need to be very careful when the 2 days for the same activity, one is 1 day, one is 2 days, where you're only paying that one day and the other one you're paying 5 days, then that is very dangerous. Something you need to think about when you're finalizing that final detail there. As well, so are you guys presenting, or you guys are just like no hope already? Okay, so you haven't done the estimated worksheet yet. Good luck to you. Okay, so I think the time is running very close already. We have to hand it in 2nd of May. So I think you better send it to me via email or some sort, like I can comment via email, because I won't be seeing you guys until the very end, I think. Yeah, this next class will be taken by Dr. Lee already, and then the Raya class will be on pre-recorded. So I don't have much face-to-face with you guys, even online, you see. But I did mention that I don't mind if we have another sessions on assignment. Okay. Say maybe if you want, we can do it before Raya. If it's a bit too soon from now until before Raya, let's say we do it on the 18th or 19th, then today is 8, so it's only 10 days. Do you guys need it within 10 days? If not, then we can do it right after Raya. But then right after Raya, if you still have a lot of problems, you only have about 7 days before you hand in your assignments. See? So that one is another issue. So I let you guys decide. I mean, I will allocate a time. I'll allocate another hour or even 1.5 hours, 2 hours at night even. If you want, we can do like a 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. when you get home, or after you book out your puasa also can, or we can do it over lunchtime. Yeah, lunchtime for you to chit chat on the assignments. But we need to do it. I think 18, 19 is a late. 18, 19 will be a good day, but then I'm just worried that you guys haven't progressed that much. See, so whatever comment that I make today, I hope you guys quickly progress to it. Yeah. But if you think that you have no issue with the estimated worksheet, I think it will be more on the report that I'll be more concerned with. So if it's on the report, we can do it right after Raya. Say 25th, 26 even, 26, 26. 26 to the 2nd, you still have about a week for you to hand it in to correct your report if there's a reporting problem. Like I said, your project, definitely there's a missing part here. If you don't come up with that proper worksheet, you're going to lose a lot of marks. Yeah, if you're going to hand in like this to me, this will only be getting you a pass. Okay, I can be very frank. Yeah. And then the rest is like this this one, I think you're still okay. Just make sure that the follow on things are okay lah, huh? Then the final estimated worksheet, how you compile all the numbers, the dollars and cents together, that one is another thing that we need to take a look at lah, huh? And then there is a reporting. Okay, so I'll let you guys decide, see your progress in the next 1 week, whether we want to have sessions before Raya. I'll let you all decide. Okay. Do you want to do it before Raya, or you prefer to do it after? Oh. Huh? Yes, girls? And Isabel, you better be careful, huh? That one is like quite a lot of work to come up with the worksheets and all that. So you guys need to speed up a little bit, huh? And Grace also, huh? Because I haven't seen your worksheet yet, so I don't know how is the level of correctness and all that. yet, huh? And the one that is online, please help your teammate as much as possible. Okay, one being you have to be taking care of your friend Grace. Okay, otherwise if she's going to do everything by herself, even if she doesn't mind, then you don't learn anything that is also not healthy at all. But you must try to allocate tasks to Wan Bing, huh? Because he's not around. So I mean, it's very kind of you to partner with him. Okay. So it's a matter of passing him enough of work for him to do. Okay? I don't want you to take everything up yourself and then later on, both of you don't do well. It's a teamwork. Huh? Or even later on when you finish your breakdown, maybe you can pass over for him to do the estimator worksheet. Okay. All right. So, and any other issues? Yeah, how you're all smiling there? Mm-hmm. 18, 19 is actually quite tight already, actually. Today's the 9th, so 19, 19, 19, 19. 19, I'm actually okay. 19, I'm actually okay. 18, 19, I think I'm fine. I think I'm fine. I mean, like sometimes I've got a lot of things in my schedule that I actually don't remember unless I look at my calendar in the office. Sometimes I have got classes, sometimes I've got. I think 19, if we want to do it, we do it on the 19 or 26. You guys choose. Can or not? You guys vote among yourself, either 19 or 26. Huh? So 26, then we only have about another week for you all to hand in your assignments. Okay? 19, huh? Okay, I'll take another look on the 19, huh? Does not mean that on the 26th, I won't see you. Like, if you want to see me again, I don't mind, huh? Okay? You want to do 19, we can go online on the 19th. On WebEx in the afternoon, in the noontime, maybe about 12 p.m. Since most of you don't have to eat your lunch anyway, you'll be in the office resting anyway, so we can go online and take another look at your assignment. All right, so I will set as a 19, maybe noontime around 12. Okay. Right, by then, I hope to see all your worksheet all done already. Yeah, so some of you even can show me some part of the reports also okay. All right. So you've got 10 more days, huh? All right, guys, we're done. All right, see you guys.